You ask your child to do something. No response. You ask again. Still nothing. So you raise your voice, and suddenly everything feels harder. Here's the part no one tells us. When children don't listen, yelling doesn't make them hear better. It usually does the opposite. And not because your child is being difficult, not because they're ignoring you on purpose. Most of the time, their brain simply hasn't received your words yet. When kids are deeply focused on play, their brain is busy somewhere else. So when we repeat ourselves or speak louder, we're not increasing clarity, we're adding noise. That's why so many parents feel stuck in the same cycle. Ask, repeat, yell, regret. But there is another way. A calm, practical approach that helps children listen the first time without yelling, without threats, and without turning every request into a battle. And it starts with understanding what's really happening inside a child's brain before they ever move their body. Step 1. Connect before you correct. Before a child can follow your instruction, their brain has to notice you first. This is where most of us go wrong. We talk from across the room. We keep doing what we're doing. We assume our words have landed. But for a child, being deeply engaged in play is like wearing invisible noise-canceling headphones. They're not ignoring you. They're just not available yet. So instead of repeating yourself or raising your voice, do this. Move closer. Lower yourself to their level. Gently touch their arm or shoulder. Then wait. Wait until they look at you. That moment matters, because eye contact is the signal that their brain has switched from play mode to listening mode. Only after that you speak. This isn't about being softer, it's about being clearer. Connection first, instruction second. Without connection, your words never had a chance. Step 2. Say less, get more. Here's something that surprises a lot of parents. Children don't stop listening because they're stubborn. They stop listening because their brain gets overloaded. A child's working memory is like a small whiteboard. You can only write so much on it before everything gets erased. So when we say things like, clean up your toys, then go wash your hands, change your clothes, and come eat dinner, we're not being clear, we're asking too much at once. The result? The child freezes or ignores everything. Instead, do this. Give fewer words. Give fewer steps. One clear instruction at a time. And make it specific. Not clean up, but put the blocks in the bin. Not don't run, but walk inside. When instructions are short and concrete, the brain knows exactly what to do. Less talking doesn't mean less authority, it means better communication. Say less, get more. Step 3. The 10-second rule. This step feels almost too simple. And that's why most parents skip it. After you give an instruction, your child's brain needs time. Not 1 second, not 3, about 7 to 10 seconds to process the words, understand the meaning, and tell the body what to do. But here's what usually happens. We give an instruction, we wait 2 seconds, nothing happens. So we repeat it, a little louder. And right there, we interrupt the child's processing. To the brain, it feels like noise, not help. So instead, try this. Give the instruction, stay where you are, and silently count to 10 in your head. No repeating, no reminding, no escalating. Just wait. Most children will start moving right around second 6 or 7, not because they suddenly decided to obey, but because their brain finally caught up. Sometimes the problem isn't that children don't listen, it's that we don't wait long enough for listening to turn into action. Step 4. Catch them listening. Most parents praise their child, but not in a way that actually changes behavior. We say things like, "Good job," "Nice," "Well done," and then we wonder why it doesn't stick. Here's the difference. Generic praise feels nice, but specific praise teaches the brain what to repeat. So instead of praising the child, Praise the listening, not "you're so good," but "I noticed you put your toys away right after I asked." That tells the brain something very clear. Listening the first time leads to positive attention. And over time, that's what children start to aim for. This isn't about rewards, it's about feedback. You're showing your child exactly which behavior works. Catch them listening, name it, and you'll see it happen more often. Step 5. Follow through calmly. This is the step that makes everything else work. Because without follow-through, children learn one thing very quickly. The first request doesn't really matter. So what do you do when you've connected, kept it short, waited 10 seconds, and nothing happens? You stay calm and you stay consistent. You repeat the instruction, but smaller, not louder, not longer, just simpler. If needed, you help them start. You place the shoes in their hands. You guide the first movement. No lectures, no threats, no frustration. And as soon as they make even a small effort, you notice it. Thank you for starting. I see you're trying. This teaches a powerful lesson. Listening isn't optional, but it's also safe. Your voice stays calm. Your expectation stays clear. And over time, children stop waiting for the second or third ask because they learned this: the first request is the real one. Yelling feels powerful in the moment. It gives us the feeling that we're in control, but control isn't the same as cooperation. Children don't listen better because we're louder. They listen better when they feel connected, clear about what to do, and safe enough to try. This approach isn't about being permissive. It's about being intentional. Connection, clarity, and consistency. If you take just one thing from this video, let it be this. The next time your child doesn't listen, don't get louder. Get closer, say less, and follow through calmly. That's how listening is built, one calm moment at a time.
Thank you so much for visiting.
We had a wonderful time. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.